Hello everyone. So I'll be showing you how to sew the built up collar neckline that we drafted in the last video. I want you to take note of the following vital information. Now for the center front, if you look at this pattern closely, you'll notice that before we added this extension, the front neckline ended here. So I'm going to create a notch here to show that this is where my front neckline stopped, so that when I'm sewing there won't be any confusion. So I have created a notch here, like 3/8 inches long. There is a notch. It will help me when I'm joining my pattern pieces. And then for the back neckline, this is still my basic back neckline. So I'm going to use, this is the other part of the front, and this is what we have left on the shoulder seam, the front shoulder seam. So I'll take that measurement and transfer it to the back. I'll take whatever measurements I have here. Let's see, I have 2.5. So from this shoulder tip point here, from this shoulder tip, I'll measure 2.5. I'll measure 2.5. Okay, I think I already notched it. And then I'll recut my back neckline from this 2.5 point. So let me just do that. Here's my paper scissors. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. A little bit wide, but not bad. I'll just cut on my fabric now. I'll remove the excess that is left, following my 1/2 inch seam allowance. So right now the front and the back shoulder seam are equal. So let's go and sew. I've already ironed my interfacing on all my pieces. Iron my interfacing. Okay, so let's go to the sewing machine. So the first thing I'll be doing is to sew my darts. I'll just mark out my darts on my back pattern. I already created a notch here, but let me just show you what I did. Just this dart leg, notch it, create a notch here. I think my pattern shifted, and a notch on this other side too, or you can use your chalk to just mark it out to avoid any confusion. Use your chalk. Then this point here, just use your chalk to indicate it actually. Then I'll remove my pattern. I'll also mark this point. This is where my dart will stop. So, I marked it at the front. Okay. Let me pin again and mark it at the back. I think I have a mark here. So let me just pin down my darts before I go to the sewing machine to sew it. Okay, so I've pinned down my 2 dots on the back pattern. I'll be taking them to the sewing. I'll be taking this pattern, this back pattern. Did I say back pattern? Did I say the back of my top to the sewing machine to sew down the dots? So I have sewn my dots, my back dots, and I've given it a good press. So the next thing I'll be doing is to finish up my armhole with this bias. I couldn't get a matching bias, so I'm using this one just to finish up the armhole. I'll do that and show you. Okay, so I've used the bias to turn the armhole area. What I'll do next is to take it to my ironing table and give it a very good press, then finish off the armhole neatly. I'll just run a stitch like a 1/4 inch to finish up the armhole properly. So I have neatly finished the back armhole, as you can see. If you notice, you see this interfacing along the armhole. It's not compulsory. If you're making yours, if you have a stable fabric, you don't need to put this, but this fabric is a bit stretchy, so I used the interfacing to stabilize the armhole area. But if your fabric is stable, you don't need to do that. So I'll set this aside and work on the front part, the front and bodies. Okay, so this is my front bodies pattern, as you can see. What I will do now is to join it along this area. This is my dart area. I'll join it all the way from the shoulder here, the collar area. I'll join all the way to the hem line of this pattern. I'll do that and show you. So I have joined the 2 front pieces, and I've gone ahead to give it a very good press. I opened up the seam. Now the next thing to do will be to turn the front neck and armhole. So I have this facing here, which I've already joined. I think it's for this one. I'll just turn. Do not forget the notch here. There is a notch here indicating the end of the neckline, the front neckline. So this is the collar area. This part is the collar area. So I'll just sew all the way to my neck, this point here where the facing ends. This is the placket. This part is the placket for the front, which I'll be sewing last. I'll just join the neckline, stop at this notch here, which is the end of the neckline. Then I'll also turn the armhole with 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'll do that and show you. So I have turned the front and the back neckline and armhole, and this is what it looks like neatly finished. This is the armhole and this is the neckline. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to join the front and the back along the center back neckline. This is my collar area. This is the notch that I created to indicate the beginning of the collar. This is the notch. So I'll join this part to this other part. Okay, this is the center back area, so I'll join the two of them and show you what it looks like. I want you to take note that I'll be joining the front fabric to the front, as in front facing front, and the facing also like this. I'll join the front to the front and the facing to the facing. So I have joined them together, the front and the front, the facing and the facing. So the next thing I'm going to do is to give it a very good press, ensuring that I highlight this detail, which is the collar. I will iron to highlight this detail very well so that it becomes more obvious. So this is what it looks like after giving it a good press. You can see that the collar detail is already showing, and this is the center back area. So the next thing I'll be doing is to join my front and the back piece along the side seam. So I'll just join the front and the back along the side seam. So I have joined my front and the back along the side seam, and I'm gonna have to give it a good press. So the last thing I'll do, which is a little bit tricky, is to join the front and the back along the neckline. So what I did is that I created a notch indicating the center back, which I will match with this my center back on the collar. So I'll just pick the collar along the fold line. This is the center back of the collar. I'll match with the center back of the top. Then I'll pin down and follow carefully. It's a bit bulky, but I'll just follow carefully, sew to this part here. There's the armhole. This is the armhole area. I'll sew to this part and do the same thing on this other part. I'll go and join them and show you what the finished look is like. So I have succeeded in joining the front and the back along the collar area and the neckline, but I encountered a little challenge which I would like to show you guys. The back neckline was a bit wider than the collar, and I noticed it came from the pattern. Remember at the beginning I increased in order to get the same shoulder seam for the front and the back pattern. I cut off a little from the back neckline, and what I was supposed to do was to through the back neckline, like to check if the collar will fit into the back. Now you can see the excess. Please do not make the same mistake. There is excess. I mean, this is a lot. So when making yours, please do not make the same mistake. Ensure that from the beginning, from the pattern drafting time, ensure that the back neckline is exactly what you have on the collar to avoid this kind of mistake. So the shoulder seams, they match properly, but the back neckline and the front collar did not match well. So that's like the major challenge that I faced. So what I just did was that I used it to make a kind of pleat, a pleat at the back. So I'm done with sewing the collar to the back neckline. So to finish it off, I'll just use my bias. I'll use my bias tape to finish off all the rough edges and show you what the final look is like. Okay, so I finished off the neckline. I used my bias tape to finish it off neatly. I'll remove all this excess interfacing which I used to stabilize the neckline. I'll remove all that. And the last thing I'll be doing is to finish up the placket for my button along the center front. So I'll just fold it in. I think I left an allowance of 2.5, so I'll just fold it in neatly. So give it a good press and show you what it looks like. As you can see, my collar is already. So this is what the final result looks like. As you can see, the built-up neckline collar came out so beautiful. If I'm to redo this project, I won't use this fabric that I used. This fabric is actually a chinos fabric. I won't pick this kind of fabric. I'll pick a fabric that is a little bit lighter in weight than this one. This one is quite heavy. So anyway, it's my choice. Another thing that I would do differently is to ensure that the back neckline and the front collar and the collar on the front matches very well. That was one mistake I made, which I would like to correct in my next one. So this is how the finished result looks like. I fixed the band already, although I did not finish it in case I want to maybe add it to a dress, add it to a skirt actually. So I left it unfinished. Then I also fixed my buttons later on. So as you can see, the neckline is so beautiful. It came out so well. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so you get notified when I post a new video. And also, if you have questions concerning this tutorial, please drop them in the comment section. I'll be there to answer all your questions. And if there's any pattern you would like me to make, also drop it in the comment section. I'll try my best to meet your needs or your demands concerning pattern making and sewing tutorials. Thank you once again. Do have a nice day. Bye.